There's a version of you that everyone knows. The one who smiles on cue, who says, "I'm fine," even when something inside you is breaking. You've worn that version for so long that sometimes you forget there was ever anyone else beneath it. But late at night, when the world grows quiet, there's a small voice that asks, "Who would I be if I stopped pretending?" We all build masks to survive. This is the story of what happens when you finally take yours off. And maybe you've worn it for so long that the mask doesn't feel like a mask anymore. It just feels like you. So, let's begin there, with the moment you first learned to hide. Maybe you've worn it for so long that it doesn't even feel like a mask anymore. It just feels like you. Each morning, you wake up and slide into the version of yourself the world expects to see. The smile that keeps things light. The calm voice that makes others feel safe. The small nods that say, "I'm fine." You've become good at it, at being okay. So good that sometimes you forget what real even feels like. But every now and then, in the quiet between moments, there's a soft ache, a whisper that says, "I miss me." The mask didn't start as a lie. It began as protection. You built it in the moments when honesty felt dangerous, when showing emotion only brought confusion or rejection. Someone once told you to toughen up, to smile through it, to be strong. And you learned, maybe without realizing, that being yourself came with a cost. So you adapted. You learned which parts of you were welcomed and which were too much. You started saying yes when you wanted to say no. You started caring more about being accepted than being understood. The mask kept you safe. But over time, safety turned into distance. Distance from others and from yourself. You might not notice it until you're alone, when the silence feels heavier than it should, and you realize how tired you are. Not from what you've done, but from who you've had to be. Pretending is exhausting, and maybe that's why certain songs make you cry, or why you stare at the ceiling at night, wondering why you feel so disconnected from a life that looks fine on the outside. It's not failure. It's your soul reminding you that there's more, that beneath the practiced smile is a self that still wants to breathe, still wants to be seen, still wants to be loved. Not for being strong, but for being real. You don't have to rip the mask away. Just start by noticing when you wear it. Notice how your body feels when you speak from habit instead of truth. Notice the small relief that comes when you let a piece of your real voice slip through. That's the beginning of coming home to yourself. So, take a slow breath. You've been pretending long enough. Now it's time to remember who's underneath. You don't need to fix yourself. You just need to meet yourself. This series is a quiet journey into the parts of you that you've denied, forgotten, or lost. Take a breath. Stay for a while. Subscribe if you're ready to come home to yourself. The part of you that still hurts. The part that still wants to be seen. This is where your shadow begins. Every time you hide a part of yourself, a shadow begins to form. It starts small, a quiet feeling you push aside, a truth you swallow, a reaction you learn to control. You tell yourself it's not a big deal. You tell yourself it's better this way. But little by little, those hidden moments collect. Every unspoken word, every suppressed tear, every time you smiled through discomfort, they gather in a quiet corner of your being. That corner is what Carl Jung called the shadow. It's made of everything you were taught not to be, the anger you never showed, the sadness you were told to outgrow, the desires you called wrong, the opinions you silenced to keep the peace. Each piece you hid became part of your shadow, not because it was bad, but because it wasn't safe to be seen. And so, your inner world divided. The parts that win approval stayed in the light, and the rest, the messy, emotional, honest parts, were sent into the dark. At first, it feels like control, like you're managing your image. But over time, it becomes something heavier, because the shadow doesn't disappear. It waits. It whispers through your reactions. It shows up when you get triggered, when you overreact and don't understand why. It's the part of you that lashes out, or shuts down, or feels jealous, or distant. Not because it hates you, but because it's still carrying pain that never got to speak. You see, your shadow is not evil. It's unintegrated. It's full of pieces of you that were left alone in the dark, still waiting to be accepted. Healing begins the moment you stop running from them. When you feel anger rise, instead of judging it, ask, "What is this trying to protect?" When jealousy appears, ask, "What longing is hiding underneath this feeling?" Every shadow emotion points to a truth that was once silenced. And when you listen, you bring light into the places that once scared you. The goal is not to get rid of your shadow. It's to understand it, to hold it with compassion until it no longer needs to scream for attention. Because the more you reject your shadow, the louder it becomes. But the more you listen, the softer it speaks. So, take another breath. You're not broken for having a shadow. You're human, and every human carries both light and dark, not as enemies, but as parts of the same whole, learning to love each other again. Before the rules, before the masks, before you learned to hide, there was a child who felt everything. They laughed freely. They cried loudly. They trusted easily. They didn't question if they were too much or not enough. They simply existed, open, curious, alive. But then came the moments that changed everything. The times you were told to be strong. The looks that said your feelings were inconvenient. The silence that followed when you needed comfort most. Slowly, that child began to understand. Love has conditions. And to keep love, they had to let parts of themselves go. So they hid their tears. They buried their needs. They learned to earn approval instead of safety. And when the world called that growing up, they believed it. But that child never disappeared. They're still inside you, waiting behind the walls you built. You might feel them when you overreact to small things, when you long for reassurance, when you feel unseen, even in a room full of people. That's not weakness. That's the part of you that still needs what it never received. Safety, tenderness, understanding. Healing isn't about becoming stronger. It's about becoming gentler with the parts of you that once felt alone. Sit with that child. Not to fix them, but to listen. Ask what they needed back then. Ask what made them feel safe. You might be surprised by how simple the answers are. A hug, a kind word, someone who stays. You can be that person now. You can give them what the world could not. Because healing your inner child is not about going back. It's about bringing them forward, letting them feel safe in your present life. You are not too late. You're right on time. Somewhere along the way, the world's voices became your own. The teacher who said you weren't trying hard enough, the parent who compared you to someone else, the friend who made a joke that stung a little too deeply. You heard those words, and a part of you believed them. So you built a voice inside, one that would say those things before anyone else. Don't be too emotional. You're not doing enough. You should know better by now. At first, it sounded like protection, a way to keep yourself safe from rejection or failure. If you could be perfect, maybe no one would leave. But over time, that voice stopped helping. It started controlling. It tells you to keep trying, even when you're exhausted. It tells you to stay small, even when you want to grow. It tells you that rest is weakness, that softness is danger. And the cruelest part? You started believing it was you, but it isn't. The voice of judgment is not your truth. It's an echo of old pain, repeating what once kept you safe. It criticizes not because it hates you, but because it's afraid. Afraid you'll be hurt again. Afraid you'll fail. Afraid you'll be seen and rejected. That voice is the wounded child trying to protect you the only way it knows how. Through control, through perfection, through shame, But you've outgrown that kind of protection. You don't need fear to guide you anymore. You can choose kindness instead. The next time that voice says, "You're not good enough," pause. Don't fight it. Don't silence it. Just ask softly, "What are you so afraid of?" You might feel a shift. The hard edges begin to soften. Because judgment loses its power when it's met with understanding. The truth is, you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be whole. And wholeness doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from learning to hold your flaws with compassion. So when that voice rises again, remember, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to remind you where you still need love. We often think healing means becoming better. But sometimes, healing simply means learning to stop punishing yourself for who you were. You did what you had to do to survive. Even the mistakes, the silence, the choices you wish you could undo, they all came from a place of pain, not evil. You were doing your best with the understanding and safety you had at the time. That doesn't mean everything you did was right. It just means you can finally stop hating yourself for not knowing how to do better then. Because how could you? You were still learning. You were still trying to be loved. You were still human. Self-forgiveness isn't about erasing what happened. It's about seeing the full picture, both the wound and the reason. You can't change your past, but you can change the story you tell about it. Instead of, "I ruined everything," you can whisper, "I didn't know how to love myself yet." Instead of, "I should have been stronger," you can say, "I was tired of being hurt." Every version of you, the angry one, the fearful one, the lost one, they were all doing what they could to keep you alive. That deserves compassion, not punishment. But forgiveness takes practice. It's not a single moment. It's a gentle return, over and over again. When the old guilt resurfaces, when your mind replays the same scene, pause. Instead of asking, "Why did I do that?" ask, "What was I feeling that day?" You'll start to notice that behind every regret is a part of you that was scared, lonely, or hurting. And that's the part that needs your love the most. You don't have to justify what happened. You don't have to pretend it didn't matter. You only have to see yourself through softer eyes, the way you would look at a child who made a mistake. Because if you can forgive that younger self, if you can hold them without judgment, you'll find something sacred happens. The shame begins to loosen. The guilt starts to fade. And what's left is peace. Forgiveness doesn't say, "It's okay." It says, "I see you, and I understand." And that understanding is what finally sets you free. So, take a slow breath. You don't need to be perfect to be forgiven. You only need to be willing to be kind. If this found you today, it's for a reason. Subscribe and come back when your heart needs reminding. You are safe here.